Okay, welcome back to chapter 11. Quick lesson today. Today's targets are, I can identify different types of samples given a particular situation, and I can calculate margin of error. And I can also find sample size given a margin of error. So margin of error and data collection, things we're going to use in your project coming up for this unit. Okay, population samples. Why do we take samples? Population is a group or objects that you want information about. When it's too difficult, time-consuming, or expensive to survey everyone in a population, information is gathered from a sample or a subset of a population. Some methods for selecting a sample are described below. Self-selected members of a population can volunteer to be in this sample. Volunteering, basically online survey, things like that. These are examples of self-selected. These are always biased because if you're not forced to respond, they are a biased sample. That means only people with strong opinions one way or the other will respond. Systematic sample, a rule is used to select members of a population. Every third person would be from a list. Okay. Now these could be biased or unbiased. It kind of depends on how it's set up. But if you use a large enough sample size, then it's not as biased because you're going to get a broader selection. This will be every third person, every fourth person calling on a list. Convenience sample is easy to reach. Members in the population are selected every 1 and 3rd hour. That would be a convenience sample. Everybody outside the grocery store, that's a convenience sample. So convenience, those are always biased as well. We'll talk about what bias means here in a minute. They're always biased because it's just people that are easy to get. Okay, and random, picking names from a hat, out of a bowl or something, those are random. Okay, and random are the only ones that for sure will be unbiased. Okay, because there's no bias, there's no way to influence. Basically, bias, an unbiased sample is representative of the population or information about. A biased sample is one that emphasizes one part or another. So basically, systematic and random are the only ways you really can set up an unbiased sample. If you do self-selected or convenience, those are definitely going to be biased. Okay, sample size, margin of error. Basically, you see this a lot of times in election years. We'll say the President Obama is favored in the election to be reelected by 52% to 48% margin. And we'll say margin of error plus or minus 3%. That's how they figure this out. It's based on the sample size. If n is the sample size, then the margin of error is 1 divided by the square root of n plus or minus. So if I have a sample size of 1200, my margin of error is 1 over the square root of 1200. Which if we put that in our calculator, that comes out to be 0.029 or plus or minus 2.9%. Conversely, I can also find the sample size for a margin of error. So if my margin of error is 3%, I can change that back to a decimal now, so be careful, but 1 divided by 0.03 squared, if I plug that in my calculator, I get 1,111.1 or 1,112 people. Okay, I think that might be our shortest video ever. 4 minutes, but we hit our targets. We're going to practice more at that tomorrow in class. We will also do a lot more with this in our projects. So have your notes for me tomorrow. We'll see you then.